1967, you have this crisis in Polish-Jewish relations connected to the Six-Day War, when the Soviet Union took a very strongly pro-Arab stance. And in Poland, there were separate political instability connected with young students protesting against communist rule and Soviet suppression of Polish statehood, or rather Polish sovereignty at least. The communist powers, on the orders of the Soviet Union, they initiated this anti-Jewish campaign. They started claiming that these students that were leading the protests, they were somehow directed by worldwide Zionist conspiracy. So nothing unusual, the same trope that we've been hearing for a long time. In connection with that, many Jews lost their jobs working for the state, naturally, as it was a planned economy and the state was the main giver of employment. Many of them lost their jobs, lost important functions in the party, because it has to be said that up until that point, the Jews that had remained, many of them did play quite important roles in various roles in the state. So many of them decided to leave the country in connection with that. The Polish authorities did not oppose it. Many left for various Western countries. Sweden took in significant numbers, but many also went either directly or first to the West, and after a couple of years to Israel. So there you have a third or fourth large wave of Polish Jewish migration to Israel. But returning to the late 40s and early 50s, in 1947, when Israel is created, initially there is a vote in the UN whether to let the state be created. Poland, together with the rest of the Soviet Union and the Soviet satellite states, vote no. However, there is the war, the Arabs call it Nakba, the disaster. The Jews call it their freedom and independence war. And in 48, the Jewish state is created. Quickly, Poland establishes diplomatic relations with Israel. 48, 49, 50 are still quite okay. In 1951, the Soviet Union take a more strongly pro-Arab stance in the ongoing conflict, and forces that policy change also on the other Soviet satellite states, meaning that relations worsen significantly. With that Six-Day War in 1967 that I mentioned earlier, that relationship completely dies. Poland is also forced to sever diplomatic relations with Israel, and they are not re-established up until 1990. So we have a period of 23 years in which Polish-Jewish relations or Polish-Israeli relations were kept to a minimum due to those circumstances connected with communism and Soviet domination. In 1986, there are some first meetings. People realize in Poland, in Soviet Union as well, in Israel, that the situation is about to change. A Soviet hold on Central Eastern Europe is unlikely to continue forever. So there are some talks. However, it is first in 1990 that the relations are re-established. And here is another important part of Polish-Jewish relations. Operation Bridge starts, in Polish Operation Most. It was basically an air bridge. The Soviet authorities had finally allowed the Soviet Jews to migrate to the Holy Land, to Israel. The decision is taken on June 14th, 1990, that this operation will take place through Poland. So the Jews in the Soviet Union, they need to contact the authorities. They need to prove their Jewish heritage. They need to get in touch with the Israeli authorities. But after the Soviets stamp all the necessary documents, they are allowed to board trains, the Moscow-Paris train, which goes through Warsaw, and in a very secret operation, because at that time the first Intifada had started. There is full-out war in Israel, and the 70s, the 80s, the early 90s, our slightly older viewers will remember that Arab terrorism was on
A big feature in Europe as well.
a big feature in Europe. Planes getting hijacked,
People being kidnapped.
Munich Olympics and so on. So the terror threat was
Very real.
was significant. This is why the operation is done in secret. The Americans are also in on it. The Poles, they go and meet with the World Jewish Congress in the US. They meet with the director of the CIA, who also is involved in creating the plan. And they are taken piece by piece. In the end, more than 40,000 went through Poland. They arrive by train to Warsaw. They are taken to a facility they arrive to Warsaw Gdański railway station, from where they are taken at night usually to facilities of Legia Warsaw Football Club in the Bemowo neighborhood. There they stay for a day or so before they are processed, because they are checked over and over again. And then they are taken to the Warsaw airport, where planes from the El Al, the state-owned Israeli airline, arrive and start picking them up. Soldiers, doctors on empty planes, 767s, arrive and start picking up hundreds and hundreds of Soviet Jews, and take them back to Israel.
Adam, I'm sorry, the clock in the corner of the studio is telling me that the time for this programme is over, so if we could pause it there, we'll pick it up next time. There we are, as usual, time has defeated us, but fear not, if you join us next time, as we hope you will, we will continue the story here on Poland Daily History.